What's the pressure on Sark? What's the temp on Sark? How do you feel about him this year in terms of having to kind of get the job done?
There's certainly no pressure on Sark. He got an extension. Man is paid. He's making plenty of cheddar. So there's no pressure from that standpoint, and especially what he's done year 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
But the internal pressure that I hear about here in Austin, and this is what I appreciate, and this is why Sark really has a respect and love that he is I call it the Eminem factor. Speaking of, 8 Mile, when Eminem, is in this battle and he basically says, I am a trailer park. I am this. If you are honest and transparent about what you feel like you need to do better, the media can't say anything. They're like, you said it. You've owned it. And what Sark has been talking about here is we have to be better in the red zone. We have to be better in the third quarter. Special teams digress like nobody's business last year. It was kicker on Bert Auburn, but it was our punter. Our kick return team was suspect. They were fine. They were good. I mean, they made plays occasionally, but per what Jeff Banks' standard is, Jeff Banks the same way. He was like, nah, bro, that was trash. Like, we have to be better. And so kudos, you talking about, like we said, we can't take away making the playoff, getting beat by the national champions, but we know what cost us games. We know what cost us the ability to put away games. We know what cost us the SEC championship. We make field goals. We do better on special teams. We get our defense off the field and play complementary ball. We're having a whole different. We're talking about being the defending champions going to Ohio State, in my opinion. So kudos to Sark, and the pressure is his deficiencies as a leader and as an offense, being the offensive guru that he is. It's out there on the mountain. It's on Mount Rushmore, bro. You got to score when we get in the red zone, and we're not doing it. Now, having CJ Baxter back and Metcalf could talk to that even more. That complimentary piece of him and 2-6 is going to be really good. But as good as it's going to be, we also graduated 4 linemen last year. And so we got our studs, our skill players back, but you also have a little bit of inexperience in the O line. So that's the pressure, in my opinion, on Sark. It's you've been to back to back. You have number 1 recruiting class to follow these back to back playoff appearances. Well, statistically, it's time to make that. It's crazy to say because our expectations are always wild. But now, what's the next level? Getting to the natty. It's just the truth. Is it unfair? Nah, you make $11 million a year. It ain't unfair. And so I think that's the piece of it is if you score in the red zone or you get points from even a field goal standpoint, I honestly think we're in a natty in the last 2 years. Not saying we'll win it, but we're in a natty in the last 2 years. And so I think that's where the glaring kind of pieces of it. And truth be told, Sark talks about it just as much as anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed with what he's done. So I actually bet some true Longhorn fans and former players that within 3 years they would win 11 games. And then they were like, "There's no way they're gonna do it." I bet some folks.
Oh, they did it.
They did it, and so I went back to the texter and sent it to him. Remember when you said this wasn't going to happen? And so, like you said, I'm impressed with what he's done and how fast they've been able to do it. And now they're getting people to stay in state and people to come from out of state where they can just reload. The key to winning a national championship, what a lot of people don't understand is you can have the best players, but you have to have someone behind them also. It's the depth that we're starting to get now. So that's why we're able to go back to back-to-back playoffs because we have depth. And like you said, we lost 4 linemen. That's the way college football is. Everybody loses 4 linemen every year, and teams still bounce back and win championships. So we have to adapt to that. That's just the nature of the beast. When it comes to this red zone that you were talking about and the referring to him as B Rabbit, from 8 Mile and knowing what he did and what he didn't do.
Yeah.
Run the damn ball.
Yes, sir.
If we run the ball and don't get cute, that's the one problem I have with this offense at times. We get a little too cute, and we have guys, and we know you can draw up the plays with the best of them. on any level. We know that you can do that. But when you have dudes, let it be about the dudes and not the plays. And that's one thing I think when we've gotten to these close games and had these opportunities in the playoffs, that we didn't make it about the dudes. We made it about the plays, and we have to get to that. And that's part of improving as a coach. That's part of improving in the red zone is you have to win your battle one-on-one. You win your battle, we're better than them. We win these games. And like you said, we're probably in the national championship.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely a less is more. And it's something we talked about last year a ton, Metcalf, Kwan on the show, right? Like, we love Sark. He calls the plays, like you guys are saying, with the best of them. But sometimes, and there's not going to get a better quote than trust the dudes, not the plays, because that's what it is. We have so many guys that can make, and a lot of them are returning. I think DeAndre Moore, we had Golden sneak up last year into the first round. Are we going to sit here in next April and be surprised if DeAndre Moore is that guy again for us, where he sneaks into 80, Mitchell snuck into the second round? We're like, wait a second, this guy popped. The guys are going to explode in this offense. It's designed for that. But sometimes less is more.
Worthy was a first rounder.
Worthy was a first rounder. Sometimes less is more. And again, everyone's talking about Smith. Everyone's talking about Ryan Williams. Ryan Wingo is, again, in that group of three with that class of sophomores. So trusting these guys, and I think, the beautiful thing about Arch Manning, who we'll discuss, is he can do it with his legs, and he's a real threat. And it's something we haven't had. Like, I guess we kind of had it with Swoops at one point, but he wasn't the threat throwing the ball. Hurd was a great athlete, wasn't the threat throwing the ball. Like, those guys were not Arch Manning's arm. We have the arm with hopefully Manning. And if he has a little Sam in him, who I guess, could move, arm wasn't Quinn's, didn't have the natural raw talent, but he was the gamer. Like, if he has that mentality where he'll fight for every yard and he'll die for the team, then I think we're going to be in a really strong position.